Again this week, we have seen more stories about a new arena for the possible NHL team or more about the proposed baseball stadium.
Well, last week, Craig Worth gave us a nostalgic look back at the 1960s-era Salt Palace. Remember that? That was to last forever as a sports venue, right? Well, today he goes back even further than that, to one arena that must have been pretty colorful there, Craig.
Well, you know, colorful is one word for it. We're talking about McCullough's Arena on 9th South. It was where Strangler Lewis was king of the ring. All this took place through thick guitar. That's not guitar, that's cigar smoke. I got to read my own writing. And some wrestler was thrown out of the ring onto the front row. Relatives of Verne McCullough kindly sent me some artifacts from the place, and my old late friend, Doc Bob Keller, once told me the stories of being there. The 1928 paper announced Verne McCullough's $85,000 wrestling arena was opening. The prominent attorney McCullough would move from his day job of fighting court battles to promoting ring battles with the likes of Strangler Lewis. Good thing Verne was an injury attorney. It all took place on the corner of 9th South and Main Street. Yes, it was McCullough's Arena. What was McCullough's Arena? The place that men and cigars met in a blue haze in front of boxing and wrestling matches. Where Patty Nolan met Bill Keener, and the old Salt Lake Telegram announced that Blimp Allred would trade grunts with Kenny Mayne. One of my favorite Salt Lake characters of all time, the late Dr. Bob Keller, used to tell me about McCullough's.
They had the big Monday night wrestling and Friday night boxing. They really had it, and boy did they draw the crowds. They really drew the crowds. How those guys in the 30s could scrounge up 50 cents during the Depression, come buy a nickel cigar, and then come to these fights, I don't know, but they sure did.
It was a show. The Palace of Punch, the Ring of Wrath.
The timekeeper had a big bell on the side of the ring, and he'd take a ball-peen hammer and hit it, and boy, they would come out just like lightning. There wasn't any hesitancy at all, man. They're boom, boom. And if there was a knockdown or a knockout of the ring or a pin, the crowd would go berserk, absolutely berserk, crazy when these things happen.
Oh, like the night Hard-Boiled Haggerty won in 1939. The paper wrote the foundation of McCullough's Arena was almost jarred loose from its mooring Friday night when Haggerty used his favorite bop on the head hold. My friend Dr. Keller said that there were villains and heroes. The Swedish Angel was a favorite, and half-dead looking bums that were carried out by phony doctors and pretend cops, only to be back the next week. Now, the real magic happened when your dad would put down his cigar and offer to take you, the kid, to see Jumpin' Joe Savoda. There could be nothing better.
When your dad took you to this place, it was the best thing that ever existed, man. You'd wait weeks and weeks to get your old man to take you to one of these wrestling matches or boxing matches. And when he did, you'd come down there and sit in these reserved seats. Holy mercy, were you ever a big shot sitting there with your old man watching this? I mean, you were powerful.
And this close to Jumpin' Joe.
This guy, Jumpin' Joe Savoli, he was a wild one, man. When he got in there, the crowd just went absolutely crazy, nuts, when he'd jump up and down and pounce on the guy if he pinned him.
Yes, Jumpin' Joe Savoda, leaping high in the air, straightening the legs and planting the hoofs squarely and with great force upon any spot, usually the jaw. Well, he seldom needed the 2 out of 3 falls as advertised. And another phony doctor would carry out another half-dead bum. On that day, Dr. Bob Keller's eyes did not see the modern corner of 9th and Main, for in his mind he was looking through the cigar haze at a ring.
It was exciting. It was, as kids, you just can't believe how this sticks in your mind after all these 40, 50, 60 years.
Well, that great character Bob Keller is gone. So is McCullough's Arena. But for one brief moment, Jumpin' Joe, the Swedish Angel, and Hard-Boiled Haggerty had one more fight here on 9th and Main in Salt Lake City. And we had our 25-cent ticket to to attend the memory.